Hi guys, alright, we're in Unit 6, Day 3, Rational Exponents, Part 1, so this is Day 1 of this. It says on the top there we are going to be using the exact same properties, except today we will be doing this with rational exponents. For today, just know that that means exponents with fractions. So instead of just whole numbers up there, you got those little exponents. We're going to jump right into examples. Again, the properties stay the same. Might look a little scarier or more complicated at the start, but really the adding, the subtracting, all that is the same. With these fractions, you're definitely going to want to use your calculator. So I would get a calculator out. If you need to pause the video and go grab a calculator, please do that. The calculator will really help when you're adding or subtracting the fractions. Okay. Problem 1. As I'm looking at the top of problem 1, in the top of this fraction, I have 2 to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is always going to be 1, so I can adjust that. The 3 on the bottom can stay. I cannot reduce anything else. I'm good to go. Problem 2. I have this negative exponent. Yeah, the exponent is a fraction. That's okay. You treat it the same. So I move that whole thing to the bottom of my fraction. So it becomes 1 over 7 to the 1/3. And make sure that little 1/3 is really small. It is definitely an exponent. It's up there on the top. The next one, problem 3, I have an m to the 2/5 all over m to the negative 4/5. What I'm going to do, let me highlight green, is take that green piece and move it to the top. I'm moving it to the top because it's a negative exponent. I don't like negative exponents. The m to the 2/5 is fine. I leave that. That's no big deal. That can stay on the top. I move the other part up. Now they're next to each other. Now that they're next to each other, the blue piece right here, I'm going to go ahead and combine that, condense that. How I do that is by adding the exponents. Okay? I want to add those little fractions. That's what I'm talking about. Use your calculator. Use your calculator and you get 6/5. And then there's your answer. The next one, problem 4. You have a to the 3/4 times a to the 2/5 right next to each other. No negative exponents. So you can go ahead and add those exponents. Okay? When I add those exponents, again, use your calculator. 3 over 4 plus 2 over 5. I get a 23 over 20. And there's my answer. Again, I'm just plugging them in my calculator. Okay, problem 5. I have a negative exponent, which I just highlighted in green, and I have a negative exponent, which I just highlighted in blue. Don't like the negative exponents. I'm going to move them to the bottom. So let me really quick rewrite this by making those exponents positive, adjusting that, making that so I don't have negatives anymore. When I do that, I'm not quite done. It didn't fix it. In the bottom, I still want to combine those. How I combine those is by adding those exponents. Okay, I add those exponents up. I still have the 1 on the top. When I use my calculator and add those together, I get 11 over 10. And then that's my answer. This next one, problem 6, I have x to the 2/3 times y to the 7th. This is all in parentheses, but it's raised to a larger power. What I want to do is take that power on the outside and multiply it in, kind of sort of think like distributing it in to those pieces on the inside. So what's going to happen is going to be x to the 2/3 times 1/3, and then y to the 7th times 1/3. So each piece got that little 1/3. When I multiply those together, I get x to the 2/9 and y to the 7/3. And then x's and y's cannot combine. That's how I have to leave it. This next one is the same idea, except for I have to give it to all the pieces on the top and all the pieces on the bottom. When I do that, I'm going to have 4 to the 1/4, and then I have 5 to the 2/3 times 1/4, right? I gave all my pieces on the top the 1/4, I gave all my pieces on the bottom the 1/4. Let's clean that up a little bit more. On the top, I'm going to go ahead and leave that. That's fine as is, 4 to the 1/4. On the bottom, I clean that up. I get 5 to the 1/6. Again, I just multiply those in my calculator. And then, that's good. Leave it like that. Problem 8. Again, think about distributing that outside exponent in. When I do that, I'm multiplying those exponents. So if this helps, you can write that down. I multiply the exponents. When I do that, I end up with a to the negative 8/7. Well, I don't like negative exponents. Those are no good. I want to move that to the bottom. So that leaves me with 1 over a to the 8/7. Now it's positive because it's on the bottom. This next one, I believe it's our last one, I take that outside exponent and I distribute it in. So again, if I write this out, I have x to the 1/3 times 2/3, and then y to the 3rd times 2/3. Each piece, the x and the y, got that 2/3. When I multiply those, I get x to the negative 2/9, y to the 2nd power. Again, I just multiplied those in my calculator. Right now, as I'm looking at this, I see a negative exponent. That yellow part, no good. Let's move it to the bottom. When I do that, rewriting this, I have y squared on the top and x to the 2/9 on the bottom. I cannot combine y's and x's, so I have to leave it like that. And that is our last problem for this Day 3 notes, rational exponents. If I went too fast, please rewind, pause the video, stop, take a break, think about it. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.